Hey, thanks for being here today. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite books, Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. A great book, a timeless book. And today's habit, number 5, is probably the most powerful. You know, you can have habits. What habit is the most important? Well, it depends on where you are, but I'm thinking overall as a starting principle, I think habit number 5, seek first to understand, and then to be understood, is probably most powerful. All the habits they're all important, but they're numbered, and I don't think they're numbered in sequence. Habits 1, 2, and 3 have to do with you. Be proactive, start with the end in mind, and what's the other one? Whatever. Start with the end in mind, and be proactive. First things first. Those are 3 things dealing with you, yourself. Habits number 4, 5, and 6. When seek first to understand, and interact. That's next week. I forgot what it is right now, but it's very important too. Talking about about being with yourself to begin with. 1, 2, and 3. Number 4, 5, and 6 dealing with other people, and then sharpen the saw. And then habit number 8 of the 7 habits. I actually wrote a book of the 8th habit. Is about tying everything together and being even more powerful. Anyway, so seek first to understand and then to be understood, from Stephen Covey. It's certainly an emotionally powerful and transformational habit in Covey's framework. At its core, this habit teaches that most people do not truly listen to understand. Instead, they listen to reply, defend, fix, interrupt, judge, or prepare their next statement. Listen to understand is incredibly important. Covey argues that genuine communication begins with empathetic or empathic listening. Listening deep enough to understand their other person's feelings, their fears, motivations, experiences, worldview, emotional reality. Only understanding someone's view can we seek to explain ourselves. If you don't understand the other, you don't understand their language, you don't understand their pain, you really can't understand them. The problem is that most human conversations begin nicely, but then become competitions for airtime rather than opportunities for connection. That's why we've talked about in this case the 80-20 rule, 80% listening, 20% talking. And then when you're talking, you're not talking to convince, you're just trying to clarify what the other person's saying. Especially important in sales. Because people want validation, they want acknowledgement, they want understanding, dignity, and emotional safety. Because when people feel unheard, conflict escalates. When people feel understood, defense is lower. Covey explains that this habit is not merely a communication technique, it's a profound act of respect in leadership, healthcare, marriage, partnering, parenting, business, politics, customer service, politics. Did somebody say politics? And conflict resolution. This habit changes relationships because it shifts communication from ego-centered to human-centered. Empathic or empathetic listening does not mean agreeing with everything someone says. It means making the other person feel genuinely heard before trying to influence, correct, persuade, or lead. People do not open their minds to someone who has not first opened their ears. Is that true? Yeah. So talking points, number 1 out of 5, most people listen to respond, not to understand. People often interrupt mentally before others finish speaking. We filter conversations through our own experience. Advice given too early often creates resistance, and real listening requires slowing down eternally. Key insight here is that most communication failures are not caused by poor speaking, they're caused by poor listening. And I always marvel at the fact that in high school we had debate, but we didn't have a listening class. I guess every class is a listening class in a way, but if you just show up and listen, you might get something very valuable. Empathy lowers defenses as key point number 2. Feeling understood creates a psychological safety. Defensiveness decreases when people feel heard, and emotional validation builds trust. Understanding does not automatically equal agreement. Just because you're listening doesn't mean you agree. People are more willing to change after they feel understood than after they feel corrected. Oh man, how powerful is that? Maybe that might be a new parenting skill. Habit number 1, most people listen to respond, not to understand. Number 2, empathy lowers defenses. Number 3, listening is a leadership superpower. Great leaders gather understanding before making decisions. Listening improves morale and engagement. Employees often already know the problems, and trust grows when leaders genuinely hear concerns. Key insight here is that people support what they help shape. Boy, that's a real powerful one. Habit number 1, most people listen and respond. Habit number 2, empathy lowers defenses. Number 3, listening is a leadership superpower. Number 4, communication is more than words. Tone matters. Body language matters. Timing matters. And emotional energy matters. A lot of things to think about when you are in conversation with somebody, especially when there's an issue, a conflict arising. And as a PS on this one, sometimes people listen to your attitude louder than your words. What's your attitude? So, habit number 1, most people listen to respond, not to understand. Number 2, empathy lowers defenses. Number 3, listening is a leadership superpower. Number 4, communication is more than words. Words are just like 6 to 10% of what people hear. And finally, understanding creates influence. Influence follows connection. Persuasion without empathy creates resistance. The best negotiators are ask great questions. Listening, ask questions based on a response. Ask more questions, listen, ask more questions. Listening creates credibility. The deepest level of communication is not speaking. The deepest level of communication is making the other person feel seen. So who in your life right now needs less advice from you and more understanding? Less advice, more understanding. What a concept. Covey's really liking this habit. And he says that humility is the key to habit 5, humility. He reminds us that many people are starving for just one thing, to feel heard. Not managed, not fixed, not lectured, not analyzed, heard. This habit forms in a person, and once it's there, it transforms marriages, families, leadership, healthcare, customer service, negotiations, and organizational culture. Because understanding changes the emotional atmosphere of most people. In healthcare, especially, patients may forget every clinical detail, but they never forget whether they were seen, respected, and listened to. Leaders who master these habits create trust before direction. They create connection before correction. And they create listening before influence. And that changes everything. So a couple of noteworthy quotes that I'll give you. The moment a person feels genuinely heard, the walls around their heart begin to come down. Listening is not a weakness. It's one of the highest forms of emotional intelligence and one of the rarest forms of respect. And thirdly, empathy does not mean surrendering your beliefs. It means valuing another person's humanity enough to understand their respective first. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Hope you've enjoyed this habit number 5. All the habits are really important. Hope you are able to practice all 7 of them this week. God bless you. We'll talk soon.